I made a decision that changed everything for me. Almost a decade ago in high school, I never thought this one decision was going to put me years ahead of everyone else in my age group. Coming into high school, I already had my mind made up that I didn't want to go the traditional college route. But you start getting closer and closer to graduation, and everybody around you talking about all the colleges they want to go to, all the acceptance letters they get, and the scholarships, and you start wondering, like, am I making the right decision? It was just something about the thought of just going away to college, getting in debt, not guaranteeing a job, and then on top of that, I had to spend 4 years with a roommate. Like, it just wasn't sitting right with me. In high school, I was quiet. I had a couple friends, but the only thing I did after school was just go to the gym and play 2K all day. Like, that's all I wanted to do, just come home and play 2K. I wasn't thinking about anything else but getting out of high school and playing 2K. But I knew deep down, if I didn't take this chance, if I didn't experience this phase of my life, this path that I wanted to go down, that I'd probably regret it for the rest of my life. So I signed my life away. No, I just joined the Air Force. So at the time, I knew I'd be away from home. I knew they'd pay me. I knew I'd get some job training and I can go to school for free. But I didn't realize just how life changing this decision would be for me. So after I went to MEPS, took the ASVAB, swore in, and got sent off to San Antonio, that's when I went to basic training. After basic training, you get sent to tech school, and that's when you pretty much learn your day-to-day job that you will be doing every day. So coming out of basic, I basically got picked to be a health services admin, which is basically just an admin in a hospital. And my day-to-day was like going to PT, going to class, going to lunch, and then I'll go back to class, and then after that you just go home. But you learn how to actually work in an actual hospital environment. It's not just like the traditional college classes and you wasting time staring at the teacher talk about dumb shit all day. You actually learn how to be a productive member in the workforce. But in these classes, you actually learn how to work your actual job instead of, you gotta, and at college, you gotta take an art class and you gotta take a math class. Then you got some social studies class and you got like some class on cooking or something like that. Something that doesn't have nothing to do with your actual job. Like tech school, it's only your job. And that's your main focus for whatever amount of time that you're actually there. Like my tech school was about 8 weeks, so it's 2 months. So back to the classroom structure, like I was saying before, like it's not like a traditional college class. It's actually a little bit more fast paced. I went to college after I got out, and honestly, traditional college is a lot more slow paced than the military was. The military, they try to get you in, they try to get you out. They need you in the workforce, actually doing something. Keep in mind at this point, you're 3 months into the Air Force. You did basic training, you started tech school, and then this whole time you be getting paid. But 3 months into college, you're still in your first semester. You haven't gotten paid. Probably went to a couple parties, probably went to class, probably fell asleep in class, and you just started gathering debt. You're already setting yourself back. But in these 3 months in the military, you've been getting paid those entire 3 months, and you're actually learning how to be a part of the workforce. And you're actually getting some skills that you can put in your resume. So my training was about 8 weeks, and then after the 8 weeks is over, you pretty much ready to just jump straight into the workforce and actually start making some money, which you've already been getting paid, but you're ready to jump into the workforce and just do everything you're supposed to be doing in your job. But mind you, you're not going into the workforce to work like a retail job, a fast food job. There's not anything wrong with those jobs, but you're actually learning real skills to go get a job that you actually want to, a job that you would actually make a decent salary out in the civilian world. So at this point, I'm 18 years old and I'm fully ready to jump into the workforce, but I'm not going into the workforce to work like regular jobs that 18-year-olds be working. Like, no, I'm actually jumping into like a field that someone probably graduated college or they might have a few years of experience before they can just actually jump into this job. Like, I'm doing that at 18. So fast forward another 6 months, I got a chance to supervise. So I'm doing everything from making sure the clinic gets opened up, make sure it gets closed, make sure all the contractors are doing the jobs, and I'm like the go-to person that like all the providers and everyone comes to whenever they need something done. And mind you, at this point, I'm 19 years old and I'm learning how to supervise a medical clinic. That's something that people come out of college and they're probably not even doing. Or you got to work in the medical field for about 3-4 years before they let you do that. But the military, they're going to throw you in that water. Like, you're gonna have to do something. Just to put it into perspective, if you went the regular college route, you would have just been about 9 months into college, depending on how long your tech school was, if you comparing it to the military. And you would have just been finishing your first year up. But in that first year in the military, you got some job training, got military training, learn how to shoot a rifle, got some discipline that you not getting anywhere else. Move to another state, learn how to supervise, and you also got some certifications depending on what your job was. I had the opportunity to get one too, but I didn't take it serious at the time. But I know people that worked other jobs like HVAC, for example, they became certified HVAC technicians within that first year, well, really first 6 months of being in the military. Whereas those first 6 months in college, you just went to class, and that's probably about it. So at this point in my journey, I'm 19 years old, moved to Vegas, and I'm supervising the clinic, and that's building me real world skills. But it gets better. Towards the end of my second year, I get selected to move out the dorms, and if you compare it to college, now it's kind of lining up a little bit. In college, your sophomore year, you can move out the dorms too and get your own apartment. But the difference is the military is paying you to live in this apartment, and they're also paying for your groceries. They get you the allowance every month. And this is in addition to your paycheck. And the best part about it, both of the incentives are tax free. So let me give y'all a little example. We about to run through this real quick. So your second year in the military, you're probably gonna be E3, or you should be, unless you got in trouble. But you shouldn't be getting in trouble. You need to be doing what you're supposed to be doing. So in those 2 years, single. Hopefully, you didn't get married in that 1 year. Some people do that. I mean, if that's what you want to do, go ahead. But I wouldn't recommend it. Most military marriages end. So, uh, family size, it'd just be you. So let's say, for example, you're living in Las Vegas. So if you calculate that, so if you look down here, so we got basic pay, 34,000 a year. That's a decent living. But on top of that, you get housing allowance, 18,000 extra a year. It's tax free, and then you get 5,500 a year extra for subsistence, which is just food. They just give you some food money a year. Both of these are tax free, and when you add all that up, you're making around 62,000 a year. So 62,000 a year is something that people who graduate college and they get a degree and they might be making 62,000 a year. But let's say you're fresh out of high school and you join the military, you're 2 years in, you probably be about 20, 21 at the most, and you're already making about 60,000 a year, which is more than probably your peers, probably some of your parents. So you're making 62,000 your second year in the military. At this point, let's say you worked at Chick-fil-A or something. Let's say you made like 12 to 18 an hour. You're probably gonna make at the most 36,000 a year, but that's assuming you can work full time, which you won't be able to because you'll be in class. So you're probably gonna make about half of that, which is about, let's say, like 15,000 a year. Just keep it simple. And those checks will get taxed way harder than your military check would because both of those incentives was tax free. So you're making about 15,000 after taxes. You got about 13,000. That's about what? That's about 500 every 2 weeks. Like 1,000 a month. Student apartments is around 800 a month for rent. I think something like that. The money gone. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the traditional college route because the military is not for everyone. But if your long term goal is to set yourself up financially, you don't want to have to struggle in your 20s, and you still want to be able to pursue a degree, I look into it. So fast forward, I hit my 5 year mark a few years back, and in that time I got to pursue my degree, got paid, got hands-on training, got supervisory experience. I got experience in multiple areas in my job. I got certifications. I got a 5 year head start on my retirement. I got to work in multiple states, got to work in another country, and got to visit multiple countries, and this is all on the government's dime. Fast forward to recently, I'm in a new state. I got another apartment, and I got the option to get a home through the VA loan. I got a 6 figure tech job, no student loan debt, and I'm pursuing another degree that's all paid for by the military. And they're even giving me a housing allowance just for going to school. This put me years. This put me years. This put me years ahead of other people. Not only in my age group, but even people twice my age. Because a lot of people, they're still paying off student loans to this day because they either got a low paying career field or they went to college multiple times so they couldn't get a degree in their field. So they keep going back, keep taking them loans out. But, military got all that covered. And you can follow the same blueprint. I'm just saying, don't be afraid to choose another path just because other people don't understand. Most people follow the same path and end up in the same place. Before I joined, nobody agreed with the idea but my parents, but this choice saved my 20s. Comment down below if you want to learn some more. Subscribe to the channel and follow me on the ground. Peace up.